Hey guys, Pants here, and today I'm going to be showing you some really cool effects to bring your editing to the next level. So this is only an After Effects tutorial, so you Vegas guys, I'm sorry. Most of this should be able to be done in Vegas though, so look out for cool little tips and stuff that would work in there. So I guess I'll just kind of jump right in. To start off, I have my footage here, obviously. This is setup, but it's for the purpose of a tutorial, so I think that's okay. So my first step usually is to create a new adjustment layer and add some color correction. So I'm going to name this CC for color correction. And we'll go into Effect, Color Correction, ooh, and we're going to go to Tint. Then we're going to do the same thing, Color Correction, and we're going to go to Levels. And then we're going to do the same thing and go to Curves. Alright, so I usually put the tint at 25% instead of 100, so that you still have the color in there, but it's just not so apparent. And then I crank up the blacks quite a bit, as well as the whites, using levels. And then, so that looks about good. So already, if you toggle the little eye thing, it looks a lot better, in my opinion. But I think my opinion's right. So now, for the curves, this is a tool that not a lot of people know how to use, but it's probably the most powerful tool in Photoshop, and definitely up there in After Effects when it comes to almost everything that doesn't generate some kind of content. So, basically you have this upper part right here, which is, if you drag this line up there, it'll make whatever it is you're dragging lighter. And so we have on this side the darks, and on this side the lights. So basically if I drag up this light part, it'll make my whites whiter, and if I drag this down, it'll make my darks darker. But if I want my darks lighter, I can drag it up. Anyway, I'm not going to cover that too much because, as you know, I have limited time. So next, I'm going to bring up the red in the midtones because the accolades have that really cool red background, which, frankly, I want to bring out. And then so red, I usually have it look something like that so that the midtones have some more red in them. The shadows look really cool if they're bluish tinted, but you gotta watch out because otherwise you'll get a bluish tint to your entire thing like this. So I always drag this down here. So already, we're looking pretty good, and we've only been working for about 2 minutes. 3 minutes, actually. So these settings seem to work for me. Obviously, you can mess around with whatever you want and change the settings as much as you want. But for me, this is how I'm going to work for now. So my next little thing to do is add a cool border. So I'm going to create a new solid, and it will be red, and it will be sexy. So we're going to grab the pen tool, and we're just going to draw a little border around it, and, I want to cover up, like, the accolades, and, I mean, I've been saying accolades, this is, like, my 4th time doing this. So basically I just created a mask, and, so we're going to hit M, or toggle this little arrow, and go to masks. And we're going to set it to subtract, we're going to increase the expansion, and we're going to increase the feathering quite a bit. And then, if you can't see all this stuff, then I'm like working with the mode normal, toggle switches and modes. So that'll bring you back to, being able to turn this to soft light. So that looks good. Next step is actually we're going to create a new adjustment layer, and we want that below the red solid. And we'll just call this blur. I wonder what it could possibly be. We're going to go to Effect, Blur and Sharpen, and we're going to go to Gaussian Blur. I think that's how you pronounce it. Everyone says it a little bit differently. So we're going to blur stuff a little bit until, you can't read the text, but it's still enough in focus. Horizontal and vertical is fine. And then you're going to grab your ellipse tool and click right in the middle. Hold down Control so that it drags out from the middle. And you should be good like that. Now, you're probably saying, Pants, you idiot. It's blurring out, the gun. Well, never fear, my friends, because we are going to set this to subtract, not add. And then also, you want to crank up the feathering quite a bit so that you don't have that harsh line. And actually, see how there's like a yellow circle? If you click this button, it'll turn that off. So that looks pretty good right now. I guess there's only like one more thing we can do, and wow, in 5 minutes, that's a record time. So here we have me spinning, and actually, like let's say you wanted to slow this down, but you didn't want to have to mess with any like percentages or anything. You can go to footage, or whatever your footage is, right click and go to, wait, where is it? There we go. Time, and then enable time remapping. So I'll kind of show you how this works. So basically, you set a keyframe. So let's see. So I want one right as I'm jumping. So this keyframe now represents that exact frame. So if I move this around, I can make myself jump sooner, speed it up, or I can make myself jump later. So I like run for a little bit longer. But I think what I was doing before is fine, in fact. Okay. So I'm gonna set one for when I'm in the air and like right about to shoot him. Just like that, because I think it'll look cool that way. And then we'll go here and have him get shot. So I want this shooting part to be a little bit longer, and then I want these 2 frames so that the whole time where I'm in the air becomes a lot longer. Look at that. Ooh. And I'm like, boom. So, if I had more time, I'd probably make him fall really slow, but yeah, that's another day. So that's that. A really cool effect for when you're doing third-person shots is to have black bars. I see it done a lot. This was done by, I think, Artsy in his 8th montage, and I really like how it looks. So, create a new solid, and you go to your rectangular tool, rectangle tool, and you draw out, a mask. And then set it to subtract yet again. Probably make it a little bit taller, if you can figure it out. Come on. So there we go. So we will take that, and if you hold Alt and hit your bracket keys, you can easily crop down footage. That's what I just did there. And we want it to end. Right. Page up and page down will toggle each frame. So if I hit page down, I'll go down another frame. So that looks about good right there. So boom, and then he falls, and then I high five myself or whatever after that pro shot. One other thing, Red Tiger, he used to do this, or I think he still does. In his third-person shots, he has like this cool dust effect, and I totally stole this from Red, but I think it looks really cool. So I have this image that I think I got off DeviantArt. I searched frosty glass or something, and so we'll make it for the duration of the third-person shot. Okay, and then we'll go mode, and we'll set that to screen. Now, there's way too much, so we will go to color correction, levels, and we will really crank up the blacks there. And then I would actually drag it below your black solid, and you could probably lower the opacity to about 25. And so, that's really how I do it. And now rendering. Go to render and then add to render queue, or composition add to render queue. I leave all these settings, normally use this comp's frame rate, otherwise it'll mess it up. Lossless, you don't, like AVIs, sure they're really good, but they are really big. So I set it at QuickTime and make sure audio output is checked. And QuickTime, you don't lose that much quality, it'll still remain HD and stuff, but it'll render a lot faster. And then you choose where you want to render your footage, and click that little render button. One other thing is that if you want like HD videos and your footage isn't, I think it's 1280 by 1080, something like that. You like, let's say you want an HD resolution. If you set it to an HD resolution, you go to composition, or edit comp settings, Control K, and you set it to HD resolution, YouTube will do less compression, so you'll actually get like a lot better video than you would if you just put it in 720p, even though it's not 1080. That doesn't make any sense, but thank you for watching this tutorial. If you like this video, go ahead and click that little like button. If you have any thoughts or questions or have another idea for another tutorial, go ahead and comment. And if you really like this, please subscribe. Thanks, guys.